N. Violation of Articles 201 ADE of the Constitution of Kenya, 2010, on principles of public finance management, and Article 226(5), as well as Article 227(1) on procurement of goods and services, and the Presidential Directive Number 2 of 2018. The Auditor General, in his report on financial statements of Wajir County Executive for the year ended 30th June 2018, observed the following glaring irregularities committed under the watch of the Governor as the Chief Executive of the county, as provided under Article 179(4) of the Constitution. A. Irregular procurement of goods and services amounting to Kenya shillings 172,751,776. 6. Without raising quotations as required by Section 105 and 106 of the Public Procurement and Disposal Act 2015, but rather used standard forms to procure goods, works and services that did not give guidance on specific requirements of the tender, where to place them, and the deadline for submission of the tender. 2. Irregular award of contract for construction of 60,000 M3 Megapan at Shimbre to Ms. Fatco Construction and Transporters Limited at a contract sum of Kenya shillings 34,747,105. This company had authorized a request for credit from the county government of Wajir via letter dated 5th December 2019, and a sum of Kenyan shillings 199,237,448 was credited to the Wajir County Development Operation account. Kenya shillings 104,046,400 for 24 companies for Water Resources Department, and Kenya shillings 95,241,305 for 15 companies for Roads, Transport and Public Works Department. However, the money was diverted for different use, contrary to the purpose of which the money was requested. Out of the 24 companies that were listed as the beneficiaries of the sum of Kenya shillings 104,046,400 meant for water resources, none of the companies were paid, except Dula Limited, which was paid Kenya shillings 26,672,608. The rest of the 23 companies did not receive any payment, and the money was diverted and paid to other companies that were not included in the list attached to the request for funds. This is a clear case of misappropriation and outright theft of public funds. Number 5, out of the sum of Kenya shillings 95,241,305 for roads, transport and public works, which was meant to pay 15 companies, none of the 15 listed companies were paid, except Haline Construction Limited, which was paid Kenya shillings 43,805,207, but which the money was paid on 20th November 2019, 6 days before the county had even made the request for the funds, thus making the payment suspect and fraudulent. The other 14 companies listed alongside Haline Construction Company in the letter requesting for funds were not paid, but instead the sum of Kenya shillings 51,436,101.28 was divided to other companies other than intended payees. The paid companies are shell companies used by certain individuals associated with the governor and his family to defraud the county. Number 6, tender number WCJ/OT/SP/02/2019-2020, supply of relief food and assorted items for humanitarian needs. The tender was awarded to Leili General Constructors Company Limited, which is associated with the governor and his family. Contrary to the law, the company was allowed to supply items at an inflated rate. For instance, the company supplied 42,857 bales of maize meal or ugali flour at a cost of 3,500 per bale, totaling to Kenya shillings 149,999,500 shillings, contrary to the local market price of Kenyan shillings 1,600 per bale. Further, some items have not been 100% delivered, for instance, sleeping mat and tarpaulin. Number 7, contrary to the provisions of the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act 2015 and the Public Finance Management Act 2012, the County Executive of Wajir, under the leadership of the Governor, gave contracts to various companies to undertake construction of mega water pan that have not been factored in the approved budget of financial year 2020-21. The tender number were as follows: WGC/OT/WTR/01/2020-2021 2 WGC/OT/WTR/02/2020-2021 3 WGC/OT/WTR/03/2020-2021 4 WGC/OT/WTR/04/2020-2021. The tenders were awarded the following companies. Tender number 1, Leili General Constructors Limited. Tender number 2, Warbo Building Construction Limited. Tender number 3, Camoro Construction Limited. And tender number 4, Blue Magic Construction Limited. O, violation of Article 227 of the Constitution on procurement of public goods and services and sections 45, 46, 47, 48, 53, 54, 57, 71, and 74 of the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act 2015. The Governor has failed to prudently manage the county resources by engaging in procurement of goods and services without a system that is fair, equitable, transparent, competitive, and cost-effective as required by Article 227(1) of the Constitution. Whereas the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act 2015 clearly stipulates the procedure to procure goods and services by any public entity, the Governor violated the Act on the following counts. Roman 1, allowed unqualified professionals to handle the function of procurement in the Department of Roads and Public Transport, contrary to Section 47 of the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act 2015. This has led to the mismanagement of resources allocated to the department. Roman 2, allowed the county officers of the key sectoral departments to procure goods and services without any annual procurement plan approved by the relevant county executive committee member that is based on the indicative or approved budget. As a result, the county officers have engaged in fraudulent procurement activities and engaged in overspending sprees in wanton abandon, leaving the unsuspecting members of the public worse for wear with manually generated LPOs and LSOs without availability of funds to service, contrary to the provisions of the laws and the Constitution. The departments of roads and public transport, water and health are the biggest casualties and since remain a threat to the county economy and service delivery. Roman 3, the Governor has routinely, since assumed office, facilitated and condoned corruption by allowing accounting officers of various departments in procuring goods and services to split and structure the entire development budget of the county into numerous quotations of below 4 million Kenyan shillings to avoid and circumvent the procurement procedures contrary to Section 54 of the Act. In some cases, the tender documents such as the quotations, LSOs, and minutes were all raised in the same day. P, Violation of right to health of the people of Wajir County. The county executive, under the leadership of the governor, has caused the health sector of the county to run into disarray and into deplorable state that has comprised and undermined the realizations of the right to highest attainable health standard of the people of Wajir, as enshrined in Article 43(1) of the Constitution of Kenya 2010. Whereas the County Assembly has allocated over Kenya shillings 2.4 billion to the Department of Medical Services, Public Health and Sanitation in the financial years 2018-2019, 2019-2020, and 2020-2021, which is equivalent of 22%, way above the national health policy requirement of 20% under universal health coverage. The only county's referral hospital laboratory, which also serves the region, cannot conduct a test on the coronavirus pandemic due to faulty test kits and lack of reagents, despite additional allocation of Kenya shillings 194 million in the third Wajir County supplementary budget for financial year 2019-2020 in a bid to contain the spread of the disease. 3. Mismanagement of the budget appropriated for basic health services such as ambulance, fuel, and maintenance, as evidenced by the public outcry after widely circulated incident in Eldas constituency, where a desperate caller who wanted to save a life in rural Eldas was tasked to buy tires and fuel for the county ambulance. The department admitted unequivocally that this allegation, in response to a statement by the MCA for Eldas Ward tabled on the floor of the House through Sectoral Committee for Public Health and Medical Services. This notwithstanding the death of senior county public officer for lack of oxygen in the main county referral hospital. Honorable Governor, true or not true? Number 2, that was the first charge, ground. Ground number 2, abuse of office or gross misconduct. 1, abuse of power and authority of the governor and contrary to Article 236 as read together with Article 235 of the Constitution of Kenya 2010, the County Government Act 2012, and the Public Service Act by reshuffling the chief officers in the Finance Department 6 times within 2 years, despite being a critical docket with the county government here, with the intent of distorting institutional memory and facilitate corruption and plunder. Now largely dependent on the constantly changing mood and liking of the governor's wife, has eroded public confidence in the critical department of the county treasury. 2, violation of the Article 73(2)(b) of the Constitution on objectivity and impartiality in decision making and in ensuring the decisions are not influenced by nepotism, favorism, and other improper activities or corruption practices. The governor has allowed his wife to literally run the county affairs as the de facto authority. He ceremoniously officiates and signs off where necessary for decisions she unilaterally makes based on her own wishes and judgment without due regard to any law. It is open secret in Wajir County and far beyond its borders that Ms. Heira Oman is the supreme leader of the county, and it is always her way or the highway. This has caused ridicule and disrepute to the high office of the county governor. Therefore, his decision to relinquish the executive powers vested on him constitutionally and derived from the people amounts to abuse of office and relegation of duties. 3, violation of Section 59(b) of the County Government Act 2012 by usurping the powers of the County Public Service Board to appoint person to hold or act in offices of the County Public Service. The governor has allowed Mr. Jeff Moria, his economic advisor, who was in contract basis to act as the head of the county treasury from March 2018 to December 2018. Mr. Jeff, with the help of others, irregularly withdrew Kenya shillings 26.1 million from Wajir County impressed account held at KCB Wajir branch. The officer, who was later arrested by Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, was charged with abuse of office, contrary to Section 46, as read with Section 48 of the Anti-Corruption and Economic Crimes Act 2003. In court case number ACC 47 of 2018, he was convicted and sentenced to pay Kenyan shillings 800,000 or in default to serve 4 years in prison. The court further ruled that Wajir County Governor, His Excellency Ambassador Mohammed Abdi Mohamud, be investigated for abuse of office in relation to the above case. Honorable Governor, true or not true?
The allegations are not true.
Thank you.
Okay, in that case, then, Honorable Governor, you may resume your seat. Okay, the Governor having denied all the allegations, we have to proceed to the next level, which is to conduct a hearing and an investigation to confirm whether there is any substantiation on the allegations. Counsel for County Assembly, do you have any preliminary issues you want the committee to deal with? And the Counsel for Governor, do you have any preliminary issue you want the committee to deal with before we commence the investigation?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, we have several preliminary issues that touches on the process of the motion before you.
Okay, hold on then. Senior Counsel Ahmed Nasser.
So, Chairman, I have just two issues for clarification.
You may go ahead. You want me to give you how many minutes?
Yes,
Senior Counsel?
yes. One is a matter of housekeeping. There is the affidavit, the witness statement by our second witness, Mr. Honorable Shuaib Barre Ahmed. There is an annexature we forgot to annex that document. I will seek leave of this committee since the governance team will answer tomorrow. If you could give us leave to put a small affidavit, we have it here, so that we can annex that document, and then we serve my learned friends for the governor. That's one. Secondly is I would like your guidance on the role of the, just a clarification, because I don't want to be raising objections in the midst of the case. I just want guidance on what is the juridic legal status of the governor's participation in these proceedings, because we note that he is not one of the witnesses. They have adduced the second witness, 6 witnesses. He is not one of them. He is entitled to appear. I take cognizance of that. He is entitled to appear without becoming a witness. But I just want to have clarification, Mr. Chairman, that he will not have any interventionary role in these proceedings, that he will be a spectator. And since he's appearing through counsel, I want to have your guidance and if I may use the word undertaking, that he cannot address this Senate in any capacity, having elected not to be a witness and having elected to appear through counsel. That's two. Those are the two issues, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, Senior Counsel, on number 1, do you have any specific rule under the 5th schedule you want us to invoke? We served you with the rules that guide this committee's proceedings.
There's one I think I marked when I was going through, but I think you have discretion as an adjudicatory body to allow me to put those annexes. My learned friends will serve on no prejudice. They will have enough time today.
Okay, if you don't have it, I will give you time to have a look.
Yes, yes.
Any objection, Counsel for Governor?
In respect of the request that Learned Senior has made in terms of the, I'm not sure whether it is an additional deposition or an annexure or evidence that was omitted from the witness statement of Mr. Shoaib Bare Ahmed that was served on us last night. We object in the strongest possible terms to that request. And without jumping the gun, Mr. Chairman, we have a substantive objection to that affidavit. And I ask that this committee considers the request by Learned Senior for the County Assembly together with our substantive objection, and then makes a composite decision in respect of our objection and Learned Senior's objection to put in additional documents in respect of that deposition.
I've not gotten you clear. You say you have an objection to which affidavit?
We have an objection to the affidavit that Learned
To
Senior
the proposed, to the proposed affidavit.
No. There is, the Learned Senior said, Mr. Chairman, that there is an affidavit on record of Shoaib Bare Ahmed.
Yes.
And he said that in respect of that affidavit, there was certain information that was left out.
Yes.
And he seeks to add or improve or augment an existing affidavit.
Okay.
The point I make, Chairman, is that we have a substantive objection about the existing affidavit.
Affidavit, okay.
So that the request by Learned Senior should then be considered together with our substantive objection.
Okay, I hear you.
All right. In respect of the second request, it is not with tremendous respect to Learned Senior for anybody other than this committee to determine how a governor who is the subject of impeachment proceedings participates before these proceedings. The governor has chosen not to be a witness, and that is his choice. That is his constitutional right. That should then not limit the manner in which he interacts with this committee. He may choose to make an opening statement. He may choose to make a closing statement. And those are opportunities that this committee and its rules have legitimately extended to the governor. Merely because he has chosen not to be a witness should not limit his interaction with this committee.
Okay.
Just, Mr.
So
Chairman, just to
I
be
think
precise.
what we are putting on record is that the governor will not be a witness. Counsel, is that what you're saying? Counsel Nyamodi?
I am confirming that the governor will not be a
He
witness.
will not be a witness.
Yes.
Senior Councilman Nasir, that settles your objection?
That's it. I mean, that clarification is important for the trajectory these proceedings will take.
Yep.
But I don't think if he makes that election, I don't think he has any other capacity for interacting with this committee.
I think the only guidance we can give at this stage is that he will not be a witness. Any other interaction, we'll deal with it as and when it arises. But I think for your objection number 2, it's clear that he will not be a witness. So I think the one that remains unresolved is on your affidavit. Therefore, I will now give the legal team for governor to raise any preliminary issues you have, then we'll deal with them with the other pending issue raised by Senior Counsel Ahmed Nasir.
Chairman, we have a few preliminary issues, and again, thank you for the opportunity to address you again. We have a few preliminary issues arising or in respect of today's proceedings. I will deal with some, and my learned colleague, Mr. Ndegwa, will deal with others. Chairman,
how many issues are these?
They are 5.
5 issues.
Yes.
And you will do a summary in how many minutes?
I will do a summary. Mine will take no more than 5-10 minutes.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Proceed.
They won't be long.
Proceed.
Chairman, the first issue that we wish to take up, and it is an issue really that has arisen as this committee commenced its proceedings with its preliminaries this morning, is that we have heard for the first time that the legal team for the County Assembly have given notice to this committee that they wish to summon 4 witnesses. We also note, Mr. Chairman, that the committee has stated that it will reserve its decision.
You know, we gave a chance to the county assembly to raise any preliminary issue, and I've not had any request on the issue of witnesses. So I'm assuming that you have waived that right, because this is the opportunity you have to deal with any preliminary issues. Senior Councilman Nasir.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I thought the procedure that we were informed is that it's for you to summon, and we made a request in writing, and it is with your, I think it is with your secretariat. Yes, yes. There's a letter we wrote yesterday on 11th, and we requested that this committee summons four witnesses pursuant to Rule 9 of your rules of procedures, and we also gave the witnesses we were calling. And I think, Mr. Chairman, Rule 9 is very clear. It reads, the committee may, at the request of the county assembly or the governor, invite or summon any person to appear and give evidence before the committee. So we are entitled to.
Mr. Chairman.
Okay, so I think the best way to handle this, so that we do it once and for all, is that now that you have brought it to our attention, I will allow you, Senior Councilman Nasir, to make the request formally to the committee, and then I will allow the governor to respond, and then we shall give directions.
Chairman, perhaps before my learned senior colleagues makes his application,
yes,
may I request that we have sight of that letter? We have not seen that letter. I request that perhaps through the office of your clerk we have sight of the letter, and we have a few minutes to consider it. We have not seen it.
Mr. Chair.
I direct that you effect service. You give Council Nyamodi a copy of that letter.
But Chair, with your kind permission, even before, and I'm not overruling your position.
Can I intervene a little bit on?
So that,
just
on
a minute,
procedure.
Senior Counsel, just a minute. Yes, Ndegwa.
There was a ruling, and the rules guiding these proceedings are very clear that parties were to be served with the specific documents at a specific time. We appeared for this service before the office of the clerk, and all the documents that Senior Counsel intended to rely on in these proceedings were served upon us. So there's a question, even before, Chair, you may direct whether to be served, whether there's a document filed before you for that purposes. As long as that document relates to the trial before us. Chair, and this, of course, I'm seeking your directions because of the question of the equality of arms. Is there a document that even the committee can rule that there be a service upon in the first instance? Much obliged.
We'll ascertain. I think you can make all those observations in your response, so that our ruling will also take that into account. So for now, I'm directing that
Chairman, can I?
The letter dated Tuesday 11th, 2021, received by the office of the clerk of the Senate on the same date, be served to the council for the governor. And you confirm if that has been done, Governor Clerk?
Mr. Chairman, I confirm that I have received a letter from the assistants to the committee. It is a letter dated Tuesday, the 11th of March, 2021, from the law firm of Ahmed Nasir Abdullahi Advocates, LLP, and it is received by the Senate's clerk's office on the 11th of May, 2021. I note also from the face of the letter that it is only addressed to the clerk of the Senate, and it is not copied to the governor or his legal representatives.
So I hear you. Our apologies. Are you able to take a response after Ahmed makes the request?
I am seeing the letter for the first time.
Yes.
I would seek 5 or 10 minutes to take instructions on that letter from the governor.
Okay.
Chairman, before we go that, I want your guidance on a very important matter of housekeeping. Both the county assembly and the governor have their legal teams, and we are a number of lawyers. I mean, there are about 4 and we are 3 on sides. there is certain decorum or when lawyers are many on who leads the matter and how many and who can speak on a specific matter. You know, Mr. Chairman, can we have some guidance that they should not speak in chorus on the same matter, and let us have one lead counsel who argues one matter? I don't think it is fair if all of them speak on the same subject matter. Let them make an election. Who is the lead counsel who will argue one matters, so that we can always respond. But if they argue all of them on the same point, it's like there's 3 or 4 representation that comes from their side, and it doesn't look very tidy.
Okay. I presume, Nyamodi, you are the lead counsel. So you can elect who speaks on what issue, but I will allow you to take the lead. So where you think Mr. Ndegwa is the one to deal with the matter, you can, through you guide the committee and say on that matter, Ndegwa will respond. On this particular one, I will deal with, so that we take you as the lead counsel. I assume you are the lead counsel?
Yes, I am. Very well.
Yeah, so you take the lead, and when you want to delegate to the other legal team, we do it through you. You guide us that on that particular matter, so and so we'll deal with it.
But just to put it on record, Mr. Chair, I'm very well guided by that direction from you, Chair. Just to put it on record that in respect of the governor, we are both on record for the governor, both my firm and Mr. Ndegwa.
But I want to know who is the lead counsel on this one.
I am lead on this one.
Yeah, so you take the lead and you delegate as appropriate.
Okay.
Where you want somebody in your team to respond, you direct him to do so. But you be the lead counsel.
Thank you very much.
Okay? Yeah, so now, members, there is a request from the legal team of governor that they require 5 minutes to take instructions on that letter. So then we'll allow you to take a 5 minutes adjournment. Yeah, so we'll give you the 5 minutes. You consult very quickly. Then when we come back, we take the request by Senior Counsel Ahmed Nasir, and then your response. Then we'll give directions on the way forward. So can we adjourn up to 21 past 11? We'll give you 5 minutes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
I'm not his father. He's not my son. You've made a big mistake. I'm supposed to pick up as a girl in her late 20s. White skin, long legs, not a little kid like him. Answer me. Are you Xia Xiaobai?
Daddy, I'm Xia.
Don't call me that.
Is this Xia Xiaobai the girl who hosted us in America? The one with the long legs, white skin, and sweet Taiwanese accent?
Yeah, that's her.
His mother just passed away, and you are his father.
Huh?